Hello YouTube, this is Jordan with Kilted Warrior Life here. Like I said before, we're all weekend warriors, some kind or another, so we happen to do most of our activities in a kilt on this channel, so that's what we're going to do today. So today we're going to be specifically talking about belts, most specifically about the Sport Kilt budget belt and buckle combo. Now I've said before, I'm not a rich guy, don't have a whole lot of money to be blowing around kilts and random clothing stuff. With kilts, I have found that the products that they use tend to be a little bit more expensive. That's because they're usually handmade or very good quality. So SportKilt is no exception. I love SportKilt USA. They're an awesome company. And I don't say that because I'm endorsed by them or anything along those lines, although if they'd love to give me free stuff, that would be awesome. So today we're going to be discussing their budget belt and combo, and I love budget things. So I actually use two belts when I'm out wearing my kilt. The first is obviously the SportKilt kilt belt, which is the only kilt belt I own, and it's a very good belt. Just a preview for what's coming up in the video. The other is this little kind of Walmart work belt. I think it's a Dickies belt that I got when I used to be a firefighter, and this has seen hell and back and done absolutely amazing. So let's take a closer look.
SportKilt kilt belt actually comes in one color, but a couple of different styles. The only color you can actually get is a black leather with a pebbled finish, kind of like this. If you actually buy their actual kilt belts at full price, then you can actually get this with a smooth or a glossy finish. But in the case of the budget belt, it only comes in that pebbled finish, which is a look I happen to like. As far as the buckle goes, I went with the Scottish Thistle, which you can see here. This is a very good detailed buckle, and it's actually kind of a faux, I think this is stainless steel. You could obviously buy kilt belts with much better, or at least more expensive materials that the buckle can be made from, but I'm fine with stainless steel. All I need is from a belt to actually hold up. You can see on the inside here, so the kilt belt closure is the same as every standard kilt belt. It's just a standard couple of inch belt here. And the buckle just slips into the loop on the very end. Like you can see, comes with another loop of leather here that you can push up and over, and that actually zips down on the top here and holds the buckle more firmly in place. The actual closure itself, you can kind of see, is a very stiff, kind of industrial strength Velcro, so it actually holds really well, lets you adjust this all over the place. Comes in three different sizes. They actually don't have a small. They do have a medium, which happens to be what I wear, so with my tiny little waist, that's great. That goes all the way up to an extra large. As you can see on the other side here, we got this little D-ring that is actually what snaps into the hook closure, which is on the actual backside of the buckle. This D-ring is extraordinarily strong. I've tried to bend it, tried to screw with it. I haven't really managed to break it or pull it out, which is really good with me in belts because I'm fairly hard on them. And then of course there's another loop here that just kind of helps hold everything in place, and if you're using sporran hangers like I do, this actually works really well. I use sporran hangers on a day-to-day basis because I don't like to screw around with the chain. It takes too long, especially when you're trying to get a baby in a car seat. So this belt works out really well. This actually retails on SportKilt USA on their website, which will be down in the description below, for $29.50, which is an amazing price for a belt and buckle together. If you've been around Ren fairs, if you've been around Scottish festivals, or even on the websites, you know that the average kilt belt is going to run you between usually around $30 to $80, and the average buckle is going to be between $15 and $50. And that obviously depends on whether it's handmade, factory, or machine made, whether or not it's been tooled, what kind of leather it is, what kind of finish has been put on it, and how much effort has actually gone into it by the craftsman. The buckle mostly determines its price by the type of material it's made of, if it's the stainless steel, if it's sterling silver, pewter, if it's even maybe gold plated or it has actual gems in it. Obviously those will get more expensive. As far as the buckles goes on this site, you actually have three choices. You can either do the traditional Scottish Thistle, which is what I have here, because that tends to match my clans and kind of what goes on in my family, or they have a rampant lion that you can actually get put on if you're more of a English or a medieval kind of person, or you can just get this absolutely plain, which is exactly what it sounds like. Just this little adornment here isn't there, and it's just the four actual decorative markings and the little borders. This is all just flat silver. Now as far as the other belt goes, because I'm actually going to review it as well just while we're at it, this is that little work belt that I got from Walmart a couple of years ago whenever I was working as a firefighter. This is just a Dickies work belt. You can kind of see it's a stiff nylon belt with kind of a leather strip that runs down the middle that's sewn in, and just a standard belt closure, tongue and loop. And it works out really well. I put this thing through hell and back. This used to, on average, hold around 8 pounds of just various equipment on my belt every single day that I was at work. This has held up my 511 tactical pants for quite some time, which has often also held about 75 pounds worth of gear depending on the day. I've used this to lift 80-some pound positive pressure fans off of chest height trucks. This thing has been put through the ringer, and it really doesn't show any wear whatsoever. Most of my belts, whenever I use them, because I'm kind of skinny and I like to cinch my belts tight, these actual holes here will start to stretch and will start to deform. With this belt, that, as you can kind of see, that really hasn't happened. You can kind of see where the nylon and the leather is creased a little bit from being buckled so tight, but it really hasn't stretched the actual punched out areas at all. Nothing's torn, nothing's bent up. The buckle is absolutely fine. It hasn't had any issues whatsoever. The actual rivets and the stitching on the back here haven't pulled loose, which is somewhat amazing. I've went through quite a few belts in my time. And this whole thing has been really good. This actual loop for the outside of the belt has held up really well. And in all reality, this is actually a very good belt. You can wear it with pretty much any jeans. It does look pretty good with a kilt if you don't have access to a kilt belt. But all in all, I think I paid like $12 for this, maybe $15 at just my local Walmart. And this actually worked out really well. So if you need just a good little work belt, I highly recommend this. If you need a kilt belt, this is about the best belt you're going to really come across. SportKilt does charge a fair amount for shipping because they ship everything FedEx. So this actually came in FedEx. It came in about, I want to say 3 or 4 days from the time that I'd ordered it. It took them about a day and a half to ship it. But this actually showed up within 3 or 4 days. It was shipped with FedEx. I think I paid like maybe $9 total for the shipping, so that was a little bit expensive, but if you join their newsletter, they do occasionally send out free shipping guidelines.
Review on the actual belts themselves that I tend to wear on a daily basis. For you, it's obviously going to be different. Your needs are going to be different. So you may not need to use a kilt belt at all. Some people really don't like kilt belts. They are pretty big. The actual belt itself is about 2 inches wide, and the buckle is just a little bit bigger than that. So you're talking about the size of a large Western buckle when you're talking any kind of kilt belt buckle. So some people really don't like large belts. Personally, I think they look better with my kilts, and I like to wear them because I really only wear tartan kilts. So I really like the way they look with my kilts, and the belt is actually really good quality, really stiff leather, so it holds my sporran really, really well, which is very important if you're out running around in a kilt doing any kind of actual moving or labor or anything like that. So I tend to wear that on a more frequent basis than I do my other belt. However, the other belt is more versatile, and it actually works much, much better if you are talking about doing anything with like jeans, if you're going to wear shorts, if you're going to use your kilt to actually hold anything substantial on the belt itself. You can get away with a kilt belt with holding sporran hangers and hanging things off your sporran, but if you're actually trying to like snap a phone case, like personally, I have to just kind of slip my OtterBox Defender case for my iPhone over the top of the kilt belt, and it's not big enough to actually snap in and lock itself in, so it's kind of sketchy. With my work belt, I really don't have that problem. It actually just works out absolutely fine. It snaps in, locks in, everything's great. If you're carrying really anything major on your belt, you're not going to want to use a kilt belt because the accessories that you slide on, the Leatherman cases and all that isn't going to fit on your belt. But if you are wearing the belted plaid, or the great kilt, which is something that I do tend to do occasionally, the kilt belt is going to be one of your best friends. It's really easy to slip under the actual pleated fabric and buckle around your waist. And it's big enough and fits tight enough that it actually helps hold your kilt in place, which is very important when you're wearing the belted plaid because otherwise you're going to wind up showing everybody everything. And that's something we're trying to avoid whenever we're wearing the kilt most of the time, unless you're into that kind of thing. So guys, thanks for watching my review. That is all about kilt belts. Next time we're going to be reviewing the Sport Kilt USA sporran hangers, which is an alternative to using a sporran chain. And I may also be reviewing the sporran that I bought off of Amazon. So Sport Kilt USA, that website is down in the actual description, along with the straight URL to get to the kilt belt that I reviewed in this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any products you need or think that you want me to review, and let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see. If you want to see something reviewed, if you want to see a question on how I do something, go ahead and let me know. I'm a big believer in nothing is an actual hard and fast rule, but I'm more than willing to give you my advice if you need to know how to wear a kilt. So, the rock on. See you guys later. Have a good night.